Hey everybody, Big Andrew here with this next installment of Thoughts from the Bench podcast, here available both on YouTube and Spotify. Uh, Going through the three things that any sort of competitive goal or competition or any kind of goal really should give you. Being discipline, patience, and humility. We've talked about discipline. Discipline, the idea of focus, the idea of determination and everything, and patience, the idea of taking it one step at a time, being patient and growing into it. Thirdly, though, we want to talk about today is humility. What is humility? Humility is not an absence necessarily of pride so much as it is a controlling of that pride. A lot of people confuse the two, humility and meekness. Now, why these two may be close to each other in relation in the English language, they come from very different ideas. The idea of humility is the absence of hubris, the absence of unwarranted ego, right? The idea of meekness is an understanding of one's ability or an understanding of one's standing and not abusing that, but holding it down, either suppressing it maybe or holding it close so as not to overshadow those around you or those over you in an unnecessary way. Give you an example, a biblical example. Number one, we have the idea of Moses in the Old Testament. Moses was a very unique individual. You can go back, and we talked about him in another podcast. You can go back and look, but we talked about him, and he very unique individual. He's one of just a handful of people ever to talk to God face to face. And he spent 40 days on the mountain getting the Ten Commandments and the law for the Israelites that we all have in the Bible, and where a lot of the modern laws come from, or the Ten Commandments and laws of Moses and Hammurabi's law and other things like that, but he got that from the mountain, from God, directly face to face. Not a lot of people got to do that. Moses had so much clout, I guess is the only word I can come up with God. He had that kind of relationship, like the kind of relationship that I would have with my dad or with a sibling or something like that, my mom or somebody, my wife, somebody close to me, where my opinion matters to them, right? On that level. That's the kind of relationship that God and Moses had. The Bible tells us that Moses was the meekest man to ever live. He had all that authority, all that power, all that access, but he never lost touch with the people he was supposed to be leading and ministering to in the wilderness. That's meekness. Jesus in the New Testament, of course, we know Jesus as the Son of God. He was God, became man, became flesh, lived a perfect life, died for our sins, was buried, physically rose again 3 days later, physically was seen by hundreds of people, physically ate with people for 40 days after his resurrection. He was on earth, and then he went up into heaven and sent the Holy Spirit down in Acts chapter 2. We have that. This is a being, a human, a real human person who was 100% human person, but also had 100% of the power of God in him. That's meekness, to be able to put all that together and suppress it. Because at any point his deity, his glory could have come out. But he suppressed it enough to be able to be around those who he needed to be around, and those he was going to minister to through his journey on earth. The only time it came out before the crucifixion, before the Passion Week, would have been on the Mount of Transfiguration, when the only three people saw it, Peter, James, and John, and they're all up on the mountain with him. And who else is there? Moses. And of course Elijah is there as well, if you know the story. That's meekness. Humility is humility is realizing a lack of ability and seeing one's own boundaries. Any sort of outlet or competitive endeavor or anything should teach you humility. I played football my senior year of high school. I finally got a chance to play football. I couldn't play up until then due to where I lived and everything. And I got to play for a great school, and I won't go into all the details, but it was a lot of fun. And we were the Spartans. That was our name. We were the Spartans, and I thought that was great. You know, I was like, hey, Spartans, Sparta, you know. And my senior year, I get in there and playing defense and everything, and I really loved playing defensive line. My dad was an offensive lineman in high school, and that was fine, but it's not my skill set. My skill set is just plug holes, knock things down. So that's what I did, and I loved it. I really, really loved it. I thought about trying for linebacker, but they have to run too much. So I was defensive lineman, and I remember one game. We went undefeated that season, and we won the championship in our division, and it was a big deal. And we shut several people out. We ruined a lot of people's homecoming games. We were an unstoppable unit, really. One game, towards the end of the season, it might have been the first or second game of the playoffs. I have to go back and look. It's been a long time. We went into halftime, and for the first time in ever, we were down on the scoreboard. And we went into that game favorite. The team that was, I believe it was a playoff game, because this was a team we'd beaten earlier in the season. This team was very talented, but they had a lot of aggression, really, is what they had. Aggression that we didn't really have because we had size and talent. We had aggression. I mean, we were unstoppable when we were out there, but this team had been able to channel a new kind of aggression that we had not channeled yet. And they were beating us 14-13 at halftime. I remember that. I remember thinking, man, we've never been down. I thought, this is a humbling experience. And I talked to the offensive lineman. I said, guys, why isn't our offense doing anything? And they got really mad at me. I'm like, well, I understand you're playing hard, but the offense has to do something because the defense can't carry everything. We ended up winning that game, of course, because we went undefeated, like I said earlier. I believe it was 20-14. We scored one more time in the second half, and we kept them scoreless. And that was a heck of a game. And after football season was done, I didn't lift a lot of weights during football season, trying to keep healthy and everything. And I went to my home gym and started benching. I was like, I'll be strong again. Get ready. You know, wrestling season's right around the corner. I'm going to lift. So I started lifting, and I was looking forward to lifting some big weights. Like, I've been doing, hundreds of push-ups every day. I've been running. I've been doing all these other things, lifting light weights and stuff. I'm not lifting a lot of barbell heavy weights. And I had 135 on the bar. I remember that specifically. It was 135 pounds. Unracked it, brought it down, and it got stuck. I couldn't get it off the bar, right? I just was a 17-year-old kid going, all by myself in the attic lifting. And I had collars on the bar, and I didn't know anything about bailing out over a bench. And I had to yell. I said, help, help, somebody help. And somebody heard me, and they yelled downstairs and said, hey, Andrew's up in the gym and needs help. And mom and dad ran up there. Mom got up there first, and my mom came up behind me, grabbed the bar, and lifted it off me and re-racked it. Here I am, a football championship winner on an undefeated team. Big. I was already almost 6 foot tall. I was about 190 something pounds. I was a big kid, and 17 years old, been lifting weights, for a while. I'm strong and everything. And I went to lift this weight, and I couldn't get off my mom picked it up off my chest. That's a humbling experience. Even recently, in recent years, missing lifts at the gym in front of a crowd of people who know that I'm going to go compete in strongman, or I missed a couple of lifts in a couple competitions, some deadlifts that I really thought I could get. Deadlift is not my forte, but I was like, I can get this. I know I can get this. This is in my realm. I'm missing it, man. It's embarrassing. My last competition that I did about a year ago, I was doing a stone run, and not a very heavy stone run for my weight class, and but heavy enough. And I got to the fourth stone, I got it up, bam. And then went to the fifth stone. I was like, I can do this. I've lifted bigger sandbags and bigger stones than this. I think it was like 205, 215, something like that. It wasn't a huge stone. It was heavy, but not like stupid heavy, right? And I couldn't lap it. I got the first 4 stones, no problem. In fact, the first stone, I didn't even pick it up. I grabbed it and I tossed it up on the platform and then got the rest of the stones. The other guys I was competing with in my weight class, none of them got the 4th stone. So I won that event. I got 4 out of 5 stones. They all got 3. But I couldn't lap it. I couldn't get it up. My arms were slick. The stone was dusty and stuff. And the tape that I had on my arm had rolled off and fallen. It was terrible. Oh, it was the worst situation. It was just absolutely terrible. And that was humbling. Because I'm strong. I can pick it up. I picked up more than that. Sports, competitions, endeavors, goals, if they don't humble you sometimes, they won't help you learn where you need to improve. I learned from these different events, these different activities, these different things that have happened in my life, how to improve in one way or another. I learned how to listen to other people. Other people had given me advice on benching and on stone lifting and stuff like that. And I didn't listen to all of it. I was like, I know what I'm doing. But I had to learn to listen to other people. Why? Because their ability or their knowledge or something like that was going to benefit me. And if I didn't listen to them, I was not going to be able to do it as well as I could have done it, and in some cases didn't do it at all. You need to find a goal. You need to find an outlet that teaches you humility. Because if you can't find something to teach you humility, eventually you'll probably get humiliated in a time that you're really not ready for it. And that's going to hurt. You learn humility through your goals and your endeavors, competitively or otherwise. So I'm going to encourage you, pick yourself a goal. I suggest a competitive goal, some kind of competition. I don't care what kind of competition it is. Everybody's going to have a different outlet, right? Pick a competition, pick a goal, and have it teach you those 3 things: discipline, patience, and humility.